This is CBS.
Coming up on Eyewitness News Nightcast, 2 people are injured after inhaling fumes from a derailed chemical tank car in Port Deposit, Maryland. We'll have the latest from the scene. In an unrelated story, Prince George's County officials prepare for the worst tonight by holding a disaster drill. Bob Alford reports.
I'm Bob Strickland. District officials have announced a new plan to tighten school security in the wake of several child molesting incidents. I'll have reactions from concerned parents and school board leaders.
I'm Chris Gordon. There has been a recent rash of mystery murders in our area. Tonight I'll begin my series on unsolved killings. Eyewitness News Nightcast is next.
This election year, you'll be promised new deals, square deals, round deals, but only Wendy's gives you a real deal. It's the half-pound double burger meal deal for just $2.99, featuring Wendy's hot and juicy half-pound double hamburger with more beef than the Whopper and Big Mac combined, plus an order of golden fries and a large icy cold Coke. So this election year, remember the double burger meal deal is Wendy's kind of people's choice.
A half-pound double burger, an order of fries, and a large Coke for under 3 of me at Wendy's.
This is American Service Center in Arlington. When you buy a new Mercedes-Benz from us, or a select model previously owned Mercedes-Benz, we guarantee, in writing, to trade your car back 3 years later and give you up to 85% of your money back in trade, depending on the model and condition. Come sit behind the wheel of a Mercedes-Benz from American Service Center. You'll save money now, and we guarantee you'll save money later.
Now, from Television 9, Washington's news station, this is Eyewitness News Nightcast.
Good evening, I'm Gordon Peterson. 2 people are injured tonight after inhaling toxic fumes from a derailed chemical tank car in Port Deposit, Maryland. The 2 men are in stable condition at Harford Memorial Hospital in Havertide. 6 cars of a Conrail train went off the tracks earlier tonight near the town of Port Deposit in Cecil County. The 2 victims were in a small boat on the Susquehanna River near the scene of the derailment when a cloud of fumes wafted over them. No confirmation yet on what sort of chemical is leaking from the tank car. Maryland State Police have sealed off the town of Port Deposit. So far, they have not evacuated the town. An Eyewitness News crew is on the way to the scene. We'll have more information as it becomes available. Reacting to a recent series of attacks on schoolgirls, D.C. officials have unveiled a new plan to tighten security in and around the schools. Tonight, sighs of relief from concerned parents and school officials. Bob Strickland has the story.
City officials unveiled the new plan at a joint news conference. Authorized visitors will have to wear clip-on badges while on school property. Warning signs will be posted at all school entrances telling unauthorized visitors they'll be prosecuted. The security volunteer program will be beefed up, and police patrols will keep closer watch on school grounds. In addition, fences will be built around school grounds that border on woods or secluded areas, and the D.C. recreation staff will help monitor school grounds when classes are not in session.
Our school system's made too much progress the last 3 or 4 years in terms of test scores and image for it to be now thrown backward by these inhumane and attacked by deranged persons.
The beefed-up security comes in the wake of at least 6 attacks on district schoolgirls during the past month, including one that was fatal. School board members tonight warmly endorsed the plan.
First of all, the no trespassing signs that will be posted will be very significant, especially if the prosecutor prosecutes trespassers, and this is very important. A lot of people may get into our buildings, we may find them there, they are arrested, but if they're not prosecuted, they're right back trying something else.
Half the incidents that stirred public reaction occurred at Bancroft Elementary School in the Mount Pleasant area. Tonight, parents there praised the new security system.
Enhancing the physical security of the school buildings. We're talking about developing a better monitoring of people coming in and out and controlled access and so on. These obviously are things that are called for by the situation.
School Superintendent Loretta McKenzie also advises parents to stress basic safety precautions to their children because she says children tend to hold on to the unfounded notion that they're always free from harm. I'm Bob Strickland, Eyewitness News Nightcast.
There was plenty of music tonight at the Cornerstone Assembly of God Church in Bowie, but instead of playing the record albums, 50 people gathered to smash them. The sound of smash hits cracking apart follows a lecture last night at Bowie High School. A pair of Minnesota ministers, the Peters brothers, urged people to cast out the evil influence of rock and roll lyrics and lifestyles. Tonight, one woman who heard the lecture agreed that rock music is bad for children.
The words of the songs are very leading. They're leading kids to take drugs. They're leading kids to suicide, and the whole business. The words, the lifestyles of the rock stars, and everything.
Tonight, the crowd not only smashed record albums, they also burned posters and album jackets and pulled the magnetic ribbon out of rock and roll tapes. Prince George's County authorities got a good look at their emergency preparedness tonight as 5 hospitals and scores of fire and rescue workers staged a mock disaster at Eleanor Roosevelt High School. Bob Aldridge was there.
The time is just a few minutes after 7. A hypothetical natural gas explosion rocks a school's gymnasium where a hypothetical meeting is going on. Within minutes, the first fire and rescue vehicles arrive and the process of containing the gas and sorting the victims by the severity of their injuries begins. At 5 county hospitals, doctors and nurses are alerted to expect as many as 80 people who've been hurt. For the most severely injured, the first hour is critical.
We call that the golden hour. And this is, if we get the patient within that first hour, the chances of survival, even in a major trauma, are markedly improved.
These disaster drills are nothing new to the area's hospitals. They're required to stage them twice a year in order to maintain their accreditation.
The Prince George's County Fire Department joined this drill not just to add a touch of realism, but to test their training and organization, and to try out a new disaster response plan devised by the Council of Governments.
We have observers participating from around the state. They're reviewing our ability to handle a disaster of this type. They're centered throughout the building and reviewing exactly what we're doing.
At the end of this drill, the County Fire Department and the 5 hospitals will critique their performances as though the event were real, because the next one could be. Bob Aldridge, Eyewitness News, Nightcast.
The federal government has dispatched a special team to investigate Monday night's fire at the Postal Service headquarters at L'Enfant Plaza. So far, no word on what caused the multi-million-dollar fire. In fact, another small blaze broke out today in a 9th-floor filing cabinet, but the flames were doused in a matter of minutes. Post office employees burned out of their offices will not be cheated out of their paychecks. Your checks may be picked up tomorrow between 10 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. in the Quorum Room of the L'Enfant Plaza Hotel across from the post office building. Interesting is the word being used tonight by the Reagan administration in response to today's interview in the Washington Post with Soviet leader Konstantin Chernenko. In the interview, Chernenko seems to open the door to further arms negotiations if the United States agrees to at least one of his 4 proposals. First, both sides must agree to a ban on nuclear weapons in space. Second, there must be a freeze on nuclear weapons at their present levels. Third, test ban treaties already negotiated should be ratified. And finally, the United States must agree to a no first-use pledge, similar to the one already made by the Soviet Union. President Reagan himself made no mention of Chernenko's proposals today, but White House officials say they are a positive sign. An American Air Force helicopter has crashed in the Philippines north of Manila, killing all 6 Americans aboard. The Air Force says the Huey-53 helicopter from Hurlburt Field in Florida was taking part in a training operation when it went down in the darkness and heavy fog. No word yet on the cause of the crash. Coming up on Eyewitness News Nightcast, we'll have more on a railroad derailment and chemical tank leak in Port Deposit, Maryland. And Chris Gordon takes a look at murders unsolved.
What a sale price.
No, ma'am, that's a Heckinger price.
This has to be a sale price.
No, Heckinger price.
Then a Heckinger sale price must really be something.
Sure is. Like Martin Senior Home Decorator Interior Paint. Save $6 a gallon on over 1,200 colors. It's easy to apply latex with easy soap and water cleanup, too. For guaranteed lowest prices every day. There's no place like Heckinger.
Sale price?
Heckinger price.
If you're running out of ways to tell your boss the copier's broken and would do anything to avoid facing him, tell your boss about Panasonic copiers. Our compact copiers have advanced electronics to help prevent breakdowns. The magnifying toning process makes great copies, great reductions too. So tell your boss it's time for a Panasonic.
See Panasonic copiers at Gold Office Products in Gaithersburg.
Hi.
Hi.
Guess what?
What?
I'm taking you out to dinner.
Are we celebrating something?
Well, I just got an American Express card and I want to break it in.
Great. I hear you can use it to take your husband to Paris.
I never heard that.
Greece?
You have a vivid imagination.
Maybe you should get the American Express card.
You're beautiful when you're buying me dinner.
You're really pushing your luck.
The American Express card. It's part of a lot of interesting lives.
1984 is the year of aerodynamics. Every car company seems obsessed with it. At Volvo, we're concerned with aerodynamics, too. In fact, the Volvo 760 GLE is very aerodynamic indeed. But through all this development and testing, Volvo engineers never forgot one thing. No matter how aerodynamic you make a car, it could someday encounter something a little stronger than the wind.
See your local Washington dealer for a test drive today.
Everybody loves a murder mystery, except when it hits home. Many of the communities in our area have been shocked by recent killings that have police perplexed. Tonight, Chris Gordon updates us on these cases in a special Nightcast series, Murders Unsolved.
The body of 15-year-old Carolyn Oberman was found by her father in a field near their home in Upper Marlboro on June 29th. She had been missing from home overnight. She was found strangled. It happened more than 3 months ago. Her murder is still unsolved.
I just don't want to see anybody else's parents have to go through what we've gone through. And I don't want to see another father in this community have to go and do, well, what happened to me when I found her. I don't want that.
I would like to see the person caught because I would like to see justice done through the courts because it's not right that somebody should get away with murder.
Right now, it's wide open. If anybody had any information, we'd sure appreciate they call because investigators really are at a dead end. We just don't have any tangible lead to go with that could implicate somebody at this time.
Another murder mystery is in Fairfax County. In August, 32-year-old Heidi Berg, an IRS employee, was shot several times while jogging near the Automobile Association headquarters near her condominium in Merrifield, Virginia. Fairfax police now think it could have been a random killing, but they're not sure. In Alexandria, police are still investigating the July 1st shooting of Dr. Robert Rixey. The cold-blooded killing took place in the doorway of his home on Kentucky Avenue, while his 3 daughters were asleep upstairs.
It's still as big as mystery as it was when it occurred. The more you think about it, that just tortures yourself to try to think and understand why. And what we members of the family try to do is not to think about why, because that just gets everybody more upset and it's more frustrating.
This appears to be a contract type of killing. We have not been able to establish any other type of motive. So we have persistently looked at this as a contract type of homicide.
But as of tonight, the Alexandria police still have no suspect and no motive in the murder of Dr. Rixey. Tomorrow night, we'll find out how the families of the victims of these unsolved crimes keep hope alive, that the killers will be caught, that those responsible won't get away with murder. Chris Gordon, Eyewitness News, Nightcast.
It's still to come on Nightcast. Gordon Barnes will tell us if it's rain or shine tomorrow, and later we'll take you down to the Warner Theater for tonight's special showing of the new musical Doonesbury.
Now Seiko gives you the moon in all its phases on the world's first analog quartz chronograph, and tailors gray with dashes of gold tone in a man's modern classic. To an elegant dress circle, Seiko adds a date window and creates a bold alarm chronograph to sport everywhere. At Seiko, great technology inspires great design. Seiko watches and clocks at your authorized dealer.
Available at Mellard Jewelers with knowledge and experience you can rely on.
Marcia.
You're playing these in an hour.
I need some changes.
We can do it.
Whatever the crisis, it's great to have a friend like the Canon AP300 electronic typewriter.
Look, the page sets up automatically.
Change 12 to 14.
Simple.
I know the limo's waiting.
Almost done. Even decimals line up automatically. You made it.
We made it.
Oh.
Canon. So smart, it's friendly.
They're here, Washington.
the exciting new 85 Nissan sports cars. And your Nissan Datsun dealers got them. The Pulsar NX, small in size, big in value. The 200SX, it eats up the road and nobody's dust. And Nissan's 300ZX, with power and performance that are awesome. Major sports car excitement is waiting for you now. Come and get it. Test drive on new 85 Nissan today at your Washington area Nissan Datsun dealers.
We had some gray skies today. Gray skies tomorrow?
Gray skies tomorrow, gray skies Friday, and part of Saturday. Then we'll try to get some sunshine in for Sunday.
Well, that's fair enough.
What we call a halvesy weekend. But despite the gray skies, keep watering. Don't stop. Because we're still very, very dry. There's no question about it. What we call the subsoil moisture, the topsoil. High temperature this afternoon at Nashville Airport, 70 degrees. The normal high for the state, 69. Low this morning, 62. Normal low, 49. And at Dulles Airport this morning, the low was 58 degrees. At Nashville Airport at this hour, the temperature is 66 degrees. The winds are south-southeast at 9 miles an hour. The relative humidity is at 78%. The barometer rising at 30.18. The air quality index 20, and that is good. Record-breaking temperatures around the country today. First of all, let's scoot out to the west. Lows, 22 degrees, Billings, Montana, 21, Los Alamos, New Mexico, 47 in San Francisco, and highs this afternoon, 87 in Columbus, Georgia, and 91 degrees at the home of the Masters in Augusta. And the reason for it, warm, moist air that continues to flow north from the Gulf of Mexico. Cool frontal zone is approaching our area, touching off some scattered showers out to the west of us, and there's a huge snowstorm once again out in the far west, dumping heavy amounts of snow through Nevada, Utah, and it'll be moving into Colorado during the night. Closer to home, a lot of cloudiness in our area, a pocket of dry air out here in the Ohio Valley that may or may not make it into our region. Channel 9 radar at this hour continues to show a large area of showers and thunderstorms, especially up in southern Pennsylvania and on back into northern Virginia and the western sections of Maryland, also approaching the Hagerstown and Frederick area. Around the country tomorrow, one can expect rain in the coastal sections of California and Oregon, snow in the higher elevations of Montana, a little bit of snow in the northern plains with rain in the upper Midwest, the upper Great Lakes, scattered showers and thunderstorms from western Pennsylvania down to the Gulf Coast, varying amounts of cloudiness in our area and the possibility of some showers. And then on Friday, a better chance of showers as the cool frontal zone gets closer to us. Indications are the cool front will move through late Friday night or early on Saturday morning, a clearing trend after that, and another snowstorm headed for the Sierra and the Rockies. Sunrise tomorrow at 7:20 and sunset at 6:26. High tides 1:56 in the morning and 2:47 in the afternoon. Forecast for our area for tonight calls for some cloudiness along with the possibility of a few more showers. Expect overnight low temperatures to range anywhere between 54 and 60 degrees. And then for tomorrow, varying amounts of cloudiness, the possibility of some showers, and winds will be variable 10 to 15 miles an hour, highs of 70 to 75 degrees. For Friday, partly to mostly cloudy, a better chance of showers on Friday, and temperatures in the 70s, clearing up on Saturday, sunshine on Sunday. I got a 9:30 tee-off time on Saturday, so I got to get them out of here.
Wouldn't dare rain.
Right.
Coming up on Nightcast, the Redskins have a new player. We'll hear from Glenn Brennan.
Last time you changed planes in the Midwest, did it seem a bit like the Wild West? Well, next time, fly into an airport that feels like an airport and not like a stockyard. Fly Eastern to Kansas City. In Kansas City, you can stroll from one Eastern plane to another without being trampled and make connections to LA, San Diego, Tucson, Phoenix, or 10 other Western cities. So fly Eastern through Kansas City and break away from the herd.
Sherry, bless you, thank you. Tito's drugstores always stick things on my prescriptions.
Those are labels, Lamb Chop. They tell you how to take your medicines right and warn you of side effects.
Oh, the Tito's family pharmacists are nice.
Oh, yes. They talk to you and they answer questions on medications.
Here you go, Lamb Chop. I know you care about my health and try to save me money, too. When I grow up, I'm going to be a pharmacist, just like you. She loves me.
People's, your family pharmacy.
And mine.
Sleek aerodynamic styling. Phenomenal handling. Advanced electronics. Unexpected comfort. And an ingeniously smooth power plant. There's even a full-blown turbocharged model. Until now, an economy car with all this was only a mirage. It still is. The new Mitsubishi Mirage.
Bad news from the doctors today.
Well, it's not bad news, but it's less than encouraging.
Think it's good news?
No, it's not good news. See, a dog can have ticks and fleas. It doesn't have, just because it's bad doesn't mean, anyway, some less than encouraging. What? No, if it's not bad, it doesn't. No, it's, there's no middle ground.
No.
Anyway, some less than encouraging news on the recovery of Redskin wide receiver Charlie Brown, who's been out with a severely sprained ankle. Brown talked with Lee Zeidman about it this afternoon.
Well, I just found out today that I have a stress fracture in my lower leg, besides the ankle injury.
What's that mean?
Well, I wish I could tell you, but really have to wait on the word from the doc. He's going to be down here later on today. Hopefully I wouldn't be out no more than 2 or 3 weeks, but then again, who knows? Probably I'll come back earlier or probably later.
Now, we understand tonight that Brown will be out for at least 1 to 3 weeks. That's less than encouraging news. Bad news would be rest of the year, okay? Football, you're going to get nicked. Anyway, the Redskins today signed another player. He is running back Jeff Moore, who was released earlier this year by the San Francisco 49ers. Moore is 6 feet and weighs close to 200 pounds. He catches passes as well as running and can also return kickoffs. They're hoping he'll be a utility back out of the Nick Giaquinto mold. To make room for him on the roster, the Skins dropped linebacker Jim Youngblood. The United States Football League tonight filed a $1.3 billion antitrust suit against the National Football League, charging the NFL as a monopoly and that a conspiracy exists to put the USFL out of business. In the suit, they ask, among other things, that the NFL's billion-dollar TV contracts be voided. They claim the league violates federal antitrust laws. In an upcoming issue of Sports Illustrated, USFL running back Mike Rozier admits that while he was a senior at Nebraska, he accepted money under the table, signed with an agent, and then signed a pro contract with the Pittsburgh Maulers before the season was over. Under NCAA rules, such actions are classified as capital offenses. The Caps had the night off. They play the Rangers Saturday. In the National Hockey League tonight, the New York Islanders, who were down 2 goals in the third period, came back to beat the Detroit Red Wings 6-4. The Red Wings took a 4-2 lead in the third period when Brad Park picked off this pass and drilled it into the right-hand corner of the net. But the Islanders came. Gordon Barnes just asked if he's still playing. If he's not, they better get him off the ice. That's all I got to say. But the Islanders came right back. Mike Bossy will go behind the net, feed John Tonelli, who scores to bring the Islanders to within 1 at 4-3 right there. Then a little later, Clark Gillies, who had the hat trick tonight, scores to tie the game at 4-all on the breakaway. Then with just 3 minutes and 40 seconds left in the game, the Islanders took the lead for good. Pat LaFontaine with the slap shot. Gillies perfectly positioned, deflects it in for the score to make it 5-4. They go on to win it 6-4. The Baseball Writers of America today named Chicago Cubs manager Jim Fry as their manager of the year in the National League. Fry, in his first year, led the Cubs to their first divisional title ever. New York Mets manager Davey Johnson finished second. Dick Williams of the San Diego Padres finished third. The Boston Red Sox have scheduled an afternoon press conference tomorrow to announce that they have named John McNamara to replace Ralph Houck as their manager. McNamara has managed in Oakland, Cincinnati, San Diego, and in California. With the exception of Cincinnati, he's never really had much success anywhere, which doesn't seem to bother the Red Sox. Earl Weaver wanted the job, but was passed over, which with Weaver they might have won, and they're looking for a guy who can lead them to 4th place. I think the choice
you
was right
understand the
there.
management.
Absolutely. Weaver, they had a chance to win the division. Now this guy,
you finally acquired the Boston mentality.
I've been around you.
Okay, we have an update on that Conrail derailment and chemical tanker leak near Port Deposit, Maryland. 2 people injured, remember. Eyewitness News reporter Cindy DiBiase is on the scene and has the latest. Cindy.
Well, Gordon, what we find out now is that 8 out of the 11 railroad cars derailed about a half-mile north of the I-95 bridge in Cecil County. One was carrying a toxic substance called acrylonitrile. Now, officials say there is no chemical leaking, and they have no explanation of how those 2 men who were near the scene of the derailment and were treated and released for inhalation of a caustic substance, how they were harmed. They just don't understand that, they say. Now, they'll try to right the trains as soon as the hazardous material experts arrive to the scene, and some of those experts are coming as far away from Illinois and New Jersey. Officials say the danger now is not to disturb the car carrying that poisonous chemical. So they are blocking off the immediate area around the derailment, but they have taken down the roadblocks that have been up around the city for the last few hours, and they say they are now allowing traffic in. Gordon?
Cindy DiBiase reporting from Port Deposit, Maryland. Still to come on Nightcast.
I'm Davy Merlin Jones at the Warner Theater with an all-singing, all-dancing Doonesbury. All thinking? That's another question. Review follows.
Okay,
this? What's with the phone booth?
Oh, we're just proving a point.
Just the facts, ma'am.
Well, the fact is the Toshiba BD3301 is so small you can fit 26 in an ordinary phone booth.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so sophisticated. Advanced fiber optics, a fast 12 copies a minute.
Edge copies, Joe? Nice set of prints, ma'am.
That's Toshiba, Joe. Quality in, quality out.
Frank, maybe you better call this in.
Can't, Joe.
Why not?
Phone booth full of Toshiba copiers.
Uh-huh.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway. Looking for adventure. In whatever comes our way.
We shaped the Mercury Cougar to help the car hug the highway. It's a shape you'll always feel good in. Just like that old leather jacket.
Born to be wild.
Cougar. From Mercury.
Buy 8 Sundays of the Washington Post for $10 and get the weekdays free. 8 free Mondays of business briefs. 8 free Tuesdays with all sorts of sports. 8 free Wednesdays flavored with recipes. 8 free Thursdays to help around the house. 8 free Fridays filled with sights and sounds. And 8 free Saturdays of good old-fashioned bargains. Get home delivery of a free Washington Post every weekday when you buy Sundays for just $10. Call 800-251-3900.
Not only has Doonesbury returned to the newspapers, its author, Gary Trudeau, has written a play. Yeah, it's called Doonesbury. It's showing now at the Warner Theater. Davy Marlin Jones has a live review. Davy?
Gordon, all those years that Gary Trudeau's Doonesbury provided a moral and political barometer for our society, it pulsed with a kind of three-dimensional power in comic strip form. At the Warner Theater, music, lyrics, live actors, and sets have been married to the Trudeau wit and wisdom, and the result is a fairly flat piece of theater. What made those reflections in Walden Puddle sparkle were that they were pungent and fast. Every time Mr. Trudeau puts his thoughts into his own lyrics and Elizabeth Swato's music, the numbers last longer than the thoughts. And a Quicksilver mentality is arrested by the surroundings of the theater. Under Jacques Levy's direction, Doonesbury seldom matches the drive, imagination, and pace of the comic strip. Embellishment has diluted Doonesbury's power. The performances of Greg Edelman's Doonesbury, Martin Moran as Zonker, and Stuart Bloom as Mark imbue the non-theatrical material with verve and a respect for the Trudeauvian twinkle. Doonesbury had a bumpy stay on Broadway. The more astute, politically, Washington audience should provide a much better environment for the seeds of laughter. There are wonderful things in the show, except it starts and stops 1,000 times. It never pulls together fully, and the things that are best theatrically are least close to the spirit of Trudeau. The finest thing in the entire evening is when a cartoon of the White House is projected. Nobody is on stage, and we hear voices doing jokes. Why, it's almost like a great comic strip. Great theater, it is not. Davy Marlin Jones.
Thank you, Davy. That's our report for now. For Gordon Barnes, Len Brenner, Davy Marlin Jones, and all your friends and neighbors, I'm Gordon Peterson. We'll leave you tonight with some scenes from the play Doonesbury down at the Warner Theater. Have a good night.
States will fine you $100 for a noisy muffler. A new muffler from Midas costs much less. You be the judge.
Hi, I'm Jim Coons. I told Ford Motor Company that Coons Ford would break the all-time sales record in October. Ford says go for it. I'm here at the Ford Assembly Plant to buy every 1985 car and truck for the biggest sale ever. That means 600 Escorts with over 200 all at the same price, $55.88 or $119 a month, regardless of equipment. That's right, $55.88. Plus, every car and truck will be drastically reduced at all 3 Coons Ford locations.
I'm Maury Siegel. If your furnace is old enough to remember when Washington had a team in the American League, this message is for you. A new high-efficiency gas furnace can cut your winter fuel bills as much as 40%. Don't let electric heat pump pitches make a sucker out of you. Only gas has totally new technology. And this booklet has all the facts about these great new gas furnaces. It can save you thousands, and it's free. Call 941-HEAT.
Meet actor Henry Winkler Thursday at 4 on Our Magazine.